Anyway, it's May of 2023. I'm in Edinburgh, Scotland. I have traveled with my sister and her husband and some friends. We have crossed an ocean to see Bruce Springsteen in Scotland. And the concert was a couple of days ago. We had the best time. And now we're just spending some time kind of touring the city, doing things, various tourist activities and sites. There's a lot of, whiskey and tastings and whatever. And it's our second to last day. We've had a great time, but it's been a little weird in one way. Accidents kind of keep happening. One time there was a guy who was drunk. He fell in the street. He hit his head, and our friend Mike took care of him because Mike is not just an EMT. Mike's the guy who trains other EMTs. And then at one point, somebody trips and falls and takes my sister Lisa down with her. And this time she's the one who twists an ankle and maybe hits her head, but Mike checks her out and she's okay. And Mike's wife tells us this kind of thing happens when he's around. That somehow the more equipped you are to handle danger, the closer danger likes to stand. Wherever he goes, people need Heimliching and whatever else. This makes me a little uneasy, but I get over it. Our second to last day has been so much fun, you guys. We went to the Johnny Walker exhibit thing and we learned how they make Scotch whiskey. I take a walk by myself, which is something I really like to do on trips. I don't always like to accommodate what other people want. And I see the Modern Art Museum, and I go to a bar called The Last Word, where a drink called The Last Word, I recommend this, has been invented, and I try it. I meet people out on the street. We go out for a fancy dinner, 6 courses, also recommend. We go to a local pub where there are musicians playing, and we make friends with other people on their trips. We watch these 2 adorable little girls on their semester abroad clearly go home with each other. It's so much fun. And now it's 2 a.m. and my sister Lisa and I are back at the hotel. We're the only ones in the lobby except for the desk clerk, who's obviously gotten the overnight shift because he is low man on the totem pole. He's super young. He's got this sprinkling of acne on his cheeks, like freckles. Lisa and I say goodnight to each other, and she is pushing through these double doors that go to a corridor and her room because she's on the lobby level. And I push the elevator button, and I'm going to go upstairs to my room. And when the doors to the elevator open, the woman in the elevator, she's 30, she's wearing a pair of jeans and a white t-shirt, she's got a ponytail, she's clutching her pocketbook, and she is covered in blood. Her nose is just visibly broken, and there's this huge gash across the bridge of the nose, and she steps out of the elevator. And I immediately go into mom, Girl Scout leader mode and start following her across the lobby. She's headed for the doors. The kid behind the desk is visibly relieved that there is an actual grown-up about to intervene. And I say to this girl as I chase her, Hannah, I think we need to get you some help. And she says, for what? And she's kind of wobbly on her feet and drunk. And I follow her out the electric hotel doors. She sits down on this low concrete wall and lights up a cigarette. And I sit down next to her and just start to chat. Sweetheart, I think we need to get you to a hospital. You're kind of bloody, And she's like, no, I'll be fine. Okay, I don't know about that, but we'll see. And I sit next to her and we chat. And I say, what's your name? And she says, I'm Nikki. And I say, I'm Terry. And I tell her about my trip. And she tells me about her trip. She's traveling with her boyfriend, Max. He's upstairs in the hotel with their baby, and they have 2 friends with them. And I tell her some of the things I've done, and she tells me some of what she's done. And like in between every step, I keep saying, do you think we should call 999 yet? And she keeps saying no. And finally, I realize I have to ask her the question. I have to ask her the question that lives inside every woman's mouth, the one that we don't want to ask. And I take a breath and I say to her, Nikki, I say, did somebody hurt you? And she says, no, I fell out of a cab when I came back to the hotel. And I say, maybe. I think to myself, and we chat a little more, right? And she goes on to her next cigarette, and shortly the electric doors to the hotel open again, and a young man walks out. He's about 30. He's kind of jacked. He's also wearing jeans and a t-shirt. And clearly this is Max. And I stand up and I take a breath and I get as big as I get. And I just wait for a minute to see what unfolds. And I'm really confused at this point because he's talking to her like he legit cares about her, you know? But also he's saying to her, why you got to do this? Every time you go out drinking, this happens. What's the matter with you? And I say to him, Max, I say, I think we got to call 999. And he says, he's not so sure. And I say, no, we're going to call 999. And he says, okay. And he gives me his phone. And I say to him, when they get here, they're going to ask you if you are responsible for this. And he says, no, she fell out of a cab. And I say, maybe, but you stay over there. And I call 999. And I sit down on the cement wall to wait with Nikki. And shortly the ambulance pulls up. And I go to the window of the bus and I say to them, here's what I know. I say, this is Nikki. She's here from Russia on a trip. This is Max. That's her boyfriend. There's a baby upstairs, I guess, with some friends. She says he didn't hurt her. He says he didn't hurt her. I don't know. They say, we got it. We'll take it from here. I say, okay, and thank you. And I go back into the lobby. And when I get to the lobby, my little freckly, pimply kid is there. And so is my sister, Lisa. And I say, you've been here this whole time? And she says, yeah, I wasn't going back to my room while you were out there with this. She says, we've been watching on CCTV the whole time with my phone in my hand, ready to call 911. She says, the cell phone, not the cell phone, the CCTV doesn't have audio, but I was watching and like ready to dial. I say, I don't know what happened. You know, he says no, she says no, but like, who the hell knows? And my sister and I walk back toward that elevator hallway junction. I give her a hug. I say goodnight. I go up to my room. And I realize in this moment, as I get undressed and take my makeup off and get ready for bed, that we girls, we always live in 2 worlds. One is the world of men, in which, I am sorry to tell you boys, nobody is above suspicion. And we have to ask the questions. And the other is the world of women, in which if you're really lucky, a sister's always got your back. Thank you.